and I don't know how much of a historian of sex you are, if you kind of like zoom way out and look at the last few hundred years or even like the last 1,000 years, does just the rise of images, you know, photography, video, does that change things? What did sex even in the culture of sex look like before it was easy to, you know, mass produce and distribute images?
Before the mass distribution of images? Well, I think that for those who are sighted, I think that inherently sex is a very visual thing anyway, because sex, if you're not looking at the act as you do it, I would say 9 times out of 10, most people have a running fantasy in their head of either what they're doing or what they're thinking of or something else. Because sex is so reliant on fantasy, and because the majority of the amount of sex that most people have is masturbation, and that is a very fantasy-reliant thing. So it's a matter of, are you talking about images that you're running in your head as a tape, or images that we're sort of, you know, finding in a mass-produced way? I mean, sure, you could say, oh, well, there were, you know, daguerreotypes. There were, you know, you could go, you know, the guys could go and watch a smoker, you know, at their buddy's house if they had a stag film or something like that. And now it's, you know, it's 4chan. It's you know, it's just like go wherever you want, and you can find things that you wanted that make you want to take your brain out and put it in a pile of bleach and, you know, wish you never saw it. But you can also find a lot of things that are what you've always imagined, and oftentimes enacted by professionals in safe contexts. So I don't know that we haven't ever been a sexually visual culture.
It's interesting. One interesting thing.
Good Psychology Today article about the power of fantasy and masturbation and how important images are.
I mean, I would actually love to know, and it might just be a question that's impossible to answer, how much, because it's feedback loops, right? I think a lot about feedback loops and the way those work. And seeing movies changes the way that we visualize things. You know, before there were movies, I would love to know. I'd love to be able to do that. I think it's just impossible to kind of, you know or hear described how people visualize things, like what the mind's movie camera. See, even we can't get away from it, the vocabulary. We talk about the mind's movie camera, or you said the tape in your mind, which I love, because of course we don't even use tape anymore. I know, but we like, still, and you see these great layers. In the news,
is so-and-so's sex tape? You're like, what tape?
There's no tape. There was never any tape. It was on a phone.
Stop using the word tape.
I love that stuff.